One big reason Fast and Loud was a hit was Aaron Kaufman, who was known for his amazing technical skills and distinctive beard. He did 14 seasons, though, and then made the shocking choice to quit. What did happen? Watch this space as we talk about why he quit the show that made him popular. When Aaron Kaufman was young, he fell in love with robots. He was interested in anything that moved, had an engine, or made a lot of noise. Not only did he want to watch, he also wanted to take things apart, figure out how they worked, and then put them back together. He became one of the most famous custom car makers in the world because he was interested in machines and needed to understand them. Aaron's father was a big part of why he loved cars. It was his dad's job to work on cars all the time. His job wasn't just to make money, he loved fixing cars. He was interested in everything related to racing, cars, and trucks. Naturally, Aaron grew up with tools, greasy hands, and the sound of engines running all the time. Imagine being a kid in that place. It's easy to see why he became interested in cars. But now comes the interesting part. Aaron learned a lot from his dad, but he didn't really become interested in something until he started driving. A garage is one place to work on a car, but getting behind the wheel and feeling the power of the machine you built is a whole other thing. That's when his life changed. Aaron Kaufman did not start out as you might think on his way to becoming a famous car builder. Aaron didn't have the option of growing up with extra cars in the garage like some kids do. He wasn't given any cool tools or extra cars to play around with. He had to learn the hard way, though, by fixing his own cars when they broke down. When you were a youth, you knew that you were the only one who could fix your broken down car. There is no expert or extra money to get it fixed by a professional. There is only you, your tools, and the problem in front of you. Getting that much real-world knowledge pushed him to improve his skills quickly. Also, guess what? Aaron had no intention of becoming a mechanic. Aaron Kaufman wouldn't have said he wanted to build some of the coolest handmade cars in the world if you had asked him that as a child. Not at all. He really wanted to work as a park ranger. Yes, Aaron really did want to live in the woods, close to animals, and enjoy the great outdoors. He thought about spending his days in a rough off-road truck instead of working on cars. He would patrol forests, climb mountains, and defend nature. But life has a funny way of taking us in places we didn't expect. Aaron always loved off-roading, even though he never became a park ranger. In fact, it became a big part of his work in the end. He didn't just make cars to look good, he made them to work, to handle rough terrain, and to go where other cars couldn't. Fans all over the world know and love Aaron Kaufman as the mechanical genius with the mustache. But before that, he was just a guy working in a small shop in Dallas. He wasn't well known. Neither was he on TV. He just had an amazing knack for taking things apart, figuring out how they worked, and then putting them back together better than before. Aaron met Richard Rawlings one day while working at a shop in Dallas. Richard was a man with big dreams, a love for cars, and a good eye for talent. As of not long ago, Rawlings opened Gas Monkey Garage, a business that turned old, broken-down cars into custom hot rods and retro beauties. Rawlings saw something special in Aaron right away. He wasn't just average at what he did. This guy was really good at cars. He was very good at paying attention to details and could picture a job before he started it. He wasn't turned down for the job at Gas Monkey Garage for long by Rawlings. In 2012, Rawlings had a much bigger thought. He wanted Gas Monkey Garage to be shown on TV. He pitched the idea of a reality show about fixing up and selling old cars, and Discovery Channel quickly picked it up. That show turned into Fast and Loud, and Aaron Kaufman became a fan favorite very quickly. What was unique about him? Was it the rough, long beard, the careful, calm way he worked, the crazy skill that let him turn old, broken cars into jaw-dropping works of art? Most likely all of these. Rawlings was the live-wired, loud businessman, and Aaron was the quiet, methodical mind who made the builds possible. Fast and Loud became a big hit because they were so good together. What really made Aaron stand out was how dedicated he was to his work. He loved what he did, so it wasn't just a job for him. And he showed that in the worst way possible. Aaron had to have emergency surgery at one point while they were shooting. Most people would now take some time off to rest and get better. Not Aaron. He only took 3 days off and then went back to work right away. 3 days? Could you picture? Aaron didn't want to slow down after surgery, even though most people wouldn't even think about it. Fans of Fast and Loud have been watching for years to see Aaron Kaufman and Richard Rawlings take old rusty cars and turn them into beautiful works of art. They made a great team. Rawlings, the quick-talking businessman, and Kaufman, the technical genius with the beard who could fix any car. Things changed, though, by the end of 2016. Aaron Kaufman was leaving the show, which shocked fans. It had been 14 years since Kaufman had worked with Fast and Loud and Gas Monkey Garage. How could he leave something that was going so well? What took place behind the scenes? How about we take a better look? From the outside, customizing cars, being on TV, and making a name for yourself in the car world all seemed like dream jobs at Gas Monkey Garage. For Aaron, though, things weren't quite as good as they seemed. He later said that working at GMG for the past 5 years had felt like working there for 20 years. This meant that the stress, work, and artistic differences had really hurt him. That's a long time to be unhappy at work. The main problem between Kaufman and Rawlings was that they had very different ideas about how to make cars. Aaron wanted to make cars that were bigger, more complicated, and faster, but the TV show wanted cars that were smaller, easier to build quickly, and better for fun. In a later conversation with Art of Gears, Aaron said that he wanted to make bigger and more complicated cars, but that he had to work on smaller and simpler cars for TV. This lack of artistic direction made each project more frustrating for him because it didn't fit with the types of builds he wanted to work on. In addition to having trouble coming up with new ideas, Kaufman also said that he and Rawlings had some personal and business problems. Things weren't as easy behind the scenes as they seemed on TV. Even though he didn't go into too much detail, he said it was like the situation was at a crossroads. One way was to stay at Gas Monkey Garage and keep working in stressful situations while feeling like you had no options. He could build cars however he wanted if he chose the other road. It led to freedom, new chances, and new projects. He picked freedom in the end. Was there bad blood between Kaufman and Rawlings? That was one of the main questions fans had. Kaufman kept things polite, but he could tell there was some strain. There wasn't really a bad mood when he left, but there were definitely anger and arguments that led to his choice. It's not easy to quit a job after 14 years, and things can get tricky when you work with someone that closely for that long. Many people, including Richard Rawlings, were shocked when Kaufman said he was leaving GMG and the show. The owner of Gas Monkey Garage, Rawlings, later said that Kaufman's leaving wasn't his choice. He said it came completely out of left field, which means it was a surprise. It wasn't easy for Rawlings to lose Kaufman. He was honest about it. He even stated that it would be very hard to move forward without him. Kaufman wasn't just a worker, after all. He was a big part of why GMG became popular in the first place. Some people even thought it might not work at all. But Richard Rawlings wouldn't have it. Right away, he stood up for the rest of his team and said it wasn't fair to say that Gas Monkey Garage couldn't work without Kaufman. In a blog post on Gas Monkey Garage, Rawlings said that Gas Monkey Garage would be very sad to lose Kaufman, but he stressed that GMG was more than just one person. He made it clear that saying the shop couldn't go on without Aaron would be unfair to the rest of the team. Rawlings praised everyone at Gas Monkey for their hard work and commitment, saying that the garage was built on the strength of the whole team, not just one person. He was saying, yes, losing Kaufman is sad, but don't forget about the other people who work hard to keep Gas Monkey going. Now that Kaufman was gone, Gas Monkey Garage had to show that it could still provide the same level of quality, innovation, and fun. They added some new rules to help with the builds. To keep people interested, they worked on even bigger projects. They tried to keep the show's excitement up like Kaufman had. But here's the thing. Fans could tell the difference. The shop still did great work, but something was missing. Kaufman was one of a kind and had skills that were hard to find. The show went on for 3 more years, but things were different. Others became less interested, but some fans stayed. Part of what made the show fun to watch was how well Kaufman and Rawlings got along with each other. Without their banter and ability to work together, it just felt different. Fast and Loud ended in 2020. Gas Monkey Garage is still around, but Fast and Loud as we knew it is no longer. No doubt Gas Monkey Garage made a big impact on the world of cars, even though the show finished. For years, Fast and Loud made homemade cars cool, showing millions of people around the world hot rods and restorations. And let's be honest, would any of that have happened without Kaufman and Rawlings? Most likely not. Fans were curious about what Aaron Kaufman would do next after leaving Fast and Loud and Gas Monkey Garage in 2017. Would he leave the world of cars behind? Would he stop being on TV? Was he going to start something new? Kaufman wasn't going to give up on what he loved, though. He did something much bigger instead. He opened his own car shop in Dallas, Texas, called ArcLight Fabrication. Kaufman had wanted to work on bigger and more complicated projects for a long time, but at Gas Monkey Garage he often had to rush through builds to meet Fast and Loud schedules. The way he liked to work wasn't that. He jumped at the chance to finally do things his way. It wasn't just any car shop, ArcLight Fabrication. Kaufman had a clear picture in mind. He wanted to focus on Ford F-100 pickup trucks and make and sell extra parts for them. He also wanted to build cars slowly and with the care and attention to detail that he loved. What made Kaufman choose the Ford F-100 pickup truck out of all the cars he could have looked at? For starters, Kaufman has always liked old cars, especially ones from the 1950s to the 1970s. The Ford F-100 is a famous American truck, but it's not always easy to find good parts for it. That's why Kaufman saw a chance. Instead of just fixing these trucks up, why not make the parts that truck fans need? Plus, he did the same thing with ArcLight Fabrication. He had a hard time opening his own shop. Because of Fast and Loud, Kaufman had a full team and a big stage at Gas Monkey Garage. He had to start from scratch and build everything. He had to search for the ideal group of people, clients, and jobs. However, this was Kaufman's true love. He also said, "I'd rather do what I love and take my time than rush through builds just for TV." ArcLight Fabrication is still open and running after all these years. Kaufman still does what he loves. He works on Ford F-100s, makes unique parts, and builds trucks the way he always wanted to. After Aaron Kaufman left Fast and Loud and Gas Monkey Garage, a lot of people wondered if he would ever be in the center of attention again. Kaufman didn't just stop being on TV, though. He came back with 2 great new shows, Aaron Needs a Job and Shifting Gears with Aaron Kaufman. Let's take a better look at what these shows are about and why Kaufman fans and car fans alike should watch them. Kaufman went back to his roots in shifting gears by writing about what he does best, fixing up cars and making them run better. There's more to this show than just flipping cars to make quick cash. It's about taking on big projects to fix up cars and seeing how far they can go. A group of people chosen by Kaufman helped with the sets. The show had the same high-energy vibe as Fast and Loud, but with a new twist. Shifting Gears is unique because it has a lot to do with Kaufman's work at ArcLight Fabrication. The show goes inside Kaufman's own shop where he makes one-of-a-kind parts and works on personal projects. It's clear that he loves what he does and is proud of every car he fixes up. Also, guess what? Shifting Gears got mostly good reviews from both fans and reviewers. It was great to see Kaufman in his field, working on old cars and making them run again. Kaufman wrote more than just Shifting Gears, though. After that, he took on a whole new task with Aaron Needs a Job. This show is nothing like what he's done before. You have to do more than just fix cars. Kaufman instead goes on trips across the country to meet people who are working on unique projects related to cars. Kaufman takes on projects with the same level of drive and curiosity that he always does, whether it's restoring a rare classic car or making a crazy custom machine. Kaufman isn't just the expert in Aaron Needs a Job, which is what makes it interesting. He's great at making cars, but he's also trying things he's never done before. Kaufman gets out of his comfort zone and faces tasks that are both interesting and hard. For example, he works with a group of experts and learns new techniques. It's different from Shifting Gears, which is more detailed, because this show is fun and exciting. In his job, Kaufman meets lots of interesting people who are really into cars. He also gets to try working on things that aren't his normal area of skill. That Kaufman loves cars and is ready to try new things is something that both Shifting Gears and Aaron Needs a Job show. Kaufman has the same drive and energy that made him a fan favorite on Fast and Loud when he's working on a crazy new project, repairing an old truck, or learning something new. But Kaufman found new ways to do what he loves after he quit Gas Monkey Garage. Now we can watch it all on TV. There's one thing we know for sure: Kaufman won't slow down anytime soon, and we're all ready to go.